Kelsey at the movies! Yeah. So, we went to the movies.
Yes.
We wanted to see a movie. And there are only some options available. And so we chose Sicario, Day of the Soldado. Sicario, Day of the Soldado.
So, as a quick explanation though.
Okay. You want to explain how we got into this?
Yes.
Okay.
So, we did not see Sicario.
The original movie.
Yeah. The first one that came out with Emily Blunt starring in it.
I wasn't
it just
interested
didn't look
in
interesting. It looked like super intense and about some war stuff. And yeah, so we weren't interested. But then
we saw
the trailer for Sicario, Day of the Soldado.
And we were like,
and
holy
the trailer
crap.
looked awesome.
This
and we
movie
were
looks,
like, yeah. So they were like, well, we need to see Sicario then. So we watched Sicario and we were like,
It was about like, I want to say it's about what I thought it would be. I didn't hate the movie.
Well, here, so the trailer set up, the same kind of setting and scene, but you have a Benicio del Toro's character saving like this little girl. So like he's like, some kind of badass, and then he's saving this little girl. Then we watch Sicario, and what we get is Benicio del Toro's character, Alejandro, who's like questionable, makes you kind of uncomfortable with some of the things that he does, and at the end you're like, he's not a good guy.
Yeah. So
guy you want saving your daughter, right? So it was like a little confusing. What we were like, okay, Sicario. So then we're still going to see. I mean, now we've seen Sicario, so we're going to see Day of the Soldado.
And Sicario got really high ratings on Rotten Tomatoes. So we went and saw Sicario, Day of the Soldado.
So it has the same people starring, not Emily Blunt.
She gone.
So we have Josh Brolin, Benicio del Toro, and the other primary character is going to be this little girl. I say little girl. She's 16. She plays a 16-year-old in the movie.
She plays 16?
Yeah, she's 16.
I don't know ages now. From 8 to 16.
Well, they said she was 16. The gist of it is like it's a kind of like politics, wartime type movie, and what happens with Mexican drug cartels, and the little girl is kidnapped as part of a plot, right? And then Benicio del Toro's character ends up with her, and so that's the whole gist of the movie.
Yeah, so I thought the actors were really solid in it. Benicio del Toro's character to the little girl, Isabel.
Yeah, she did good. Josh Brolin's really excellent.
It was like a gritty feel to the movie. I thought it was shot well. I thought the imagery was good.
The score?
The score is excellent.
The movie is amazing. So overall with the movie though, when it got to the end of it, I was like, oh, well that was a well-made movie. And I don't really know what it's trying to tell me. Like, I don't get, is there supposed to be a moral to the movie? Like, what is the thing? Like, there is no thing to the movie. It just kind of, like, was. And it seems to be setting up for a third installment. Possibly with this. Sometimes these things never happen. But it definitely ended with an opportunity for a third installment in this movie. So, it just kind of just was, is how I felt. How'd you feel?
Yeah, at the end of the movie, I was like, yep, that was a movie. I thought the movie was formulaic in some respects, but also deviated from it enough to where I wasn't bored.
Yeah, I wasn't bored at all.
It had a lot of action in it, and like I said, the actors were really great. I thought the movie was well made, except that I'm not sure the story warranted a movie, which is a big problem.
It wasn't edifying to me. It didn't add anything to my life. I can literally forget about this movie unless I want to maybe it spurred somebody to go dig into Mexican drug cartels and find out what's going on there. That would be the only good thing that might come out of this movie.
I don't know. I mean, even if you take away whether it was edifying or not, just as far as entertainment value, I feel like the story wasn't very entertaining. You know what I mean? I was like, okay. But
I feel like it's an interesting thing to say. We were never bored, but it wasn't necessarily entertaining. So somehow they managed to do that.
Yeah, I think that's reflected in their Rotten Tomato score, which is 68-ish or something. It's not rotten, but it's not go see it. So.
So what do we say? Go, wait, skip.
So I'm going to say, for this movie, I'm gonna say wait. You don't need to go see it at the movies. It's not terrible enough to skip. Like if you wanted to see it, I'm not gonna tell you not to go see it. So wait, and whatever that means to you. Like if you're gonna wait until it comes on TBS, like we saw
Sicario
on
on
FX, like that's fine. Then wait for that. Wait as long as you want to wait. Be in no rush to see it, but if you do happen upon it, it's not bad. What about you?
Yeah, so I think I would lean more towards skip. I don't think this is going to add anything to your life. There's no reason to watch it where you'd be like, well, I really think you should watch it because it's going to like tell you this one thing. It just doesn't exist. You cannot see this movie and your life will not change. So for me, that is just skip. It is well made though, so yeah, if it shows up on FX later and you feel like I'm bored and I want to watch something, yeah, go ahead and watch it. And that'll even cut out some of the, if there's any. I don't think this was that gruesome, was it?
No.
I don't think the violence was. There were some parts in the first Sicario where I shut my eyes. I didn't do that in this movie, so maybe because it had the little girl in it.
That was on FX.
Yeah.
Yeah, I feel like my main problem with the movie... Spoilers! Spoilers! Sicario spoilers are local. My main problem with the movie is that I was promised a certain movie by the trailer, and yet that movie never unfolded. And so I'm promised this idea of like Benicio del Toro's character like going up against the Brolin character because they're going to come after the little girl. And that never happened. You know what I mean? Like it wasn't like that story, which part of me respects. Like, part of me respects that it wasn't that formulaic. Like, it was like, right. Here's a formula, and now we're going to do this different stuff.
But they just didn't replace, like,
yeah, it was like, except nothing else happened.
Yeah.
So, I feel like, it's almost
that
like...
way it's kind of flat.
It was almost like a movie that was... It's a fictional movie, right? But I feel like... it would make more sense to me if this movie was real life, because you're like, okay, well, that happened in real life. So they had
because real life isn't, like, dramatic all
But this is like, you were like, what? Like, oh... So I feel like, I don't know, I feel like what happened, this is the story I make up. The story I make up is that they were like, hey, we did a really good job with Sicario, let's make another one. People like to see what we're showing them with the border of Mexico and like our depiction of the U.S. government's involvement in that. Whether it's turned on, I don't know, but I'm saying that this is what they depict and people want to see it. Fine, let's make another movie. Well, here are the stories we got. Well, okay. Like, I guess we'll make this one. Like, I feel like maybe they should have sent out scripts more.
For me, like, I had, like, two problems. One problem was that after I saw Sicario, I was like, Benicio del Toro's character is revengeful and unethical and scary, and what the trailer for Day of Soldado was telling me is that he's saving this little girl. And
which doesn't make any sense.
So so spoiler for the first movie, he kills an entire family.
Yeah.
At like point blank, like with a gun, but he won't kill this little girl.
Who is the same as the other?
Who's the daughter of the drug cartel that he's fighting against.
It doesn't make sense.
Like, so that doesn't like really follow to me, and they didn't give me anything. Why does he so maybe he develops a relationship with this little girl. And maybe this is his character's arc, right? He starts to change. But that didn't really happen in the movie. Like, they were just together, and she was either scared or crying or silent. Like, there wasn't anything that happened between them that, like, was like, oh, they have, like, a father-daughter relationship now. So, I was like, you gave me some, like, crazy character and Alejandro, and then put him with this little girl, and then by the time we get to the end of the movie, it just kind of falls apart anyway. He's not the one that saves the little girl. It's Josh Brolin's character. Yeah. My second problem with the movie, as a resident of Texas, when I watched the first Sicario movie, as soon as it was done, what I did is I looked up, what is it like to live in Juarez? And what I found is most of the stuff that came back was that the movie makers really went over the top with, and we know that like there are cities in the U.S. and there are cities in Mexico where life is hard and it's dangerous and it's violent. But like the picture they're painting
Yeah.
of these cities is pretty over the top. And I guess there's a part of me that kind of takes offense at that because I feel like Mexico is my neighbor and I feel like the border, I live like relatively near the border compared to the, like much of the U.S. We have friends that lived in Laredo, which is right across from Nuevo Laredo.
We've been to El Paso.
And so I kind of take like a little bit of offense that you're going to make things out to be much like not what they really are. And as if there's not already a big problem with people making up stories about what happens at the border.
Yeah.
So I did kind of take offense at that, and I didn't like that it was over the top. And then with the government, there's, you know, we have this in all kinds of movies where people just are like, apparently every single government official is crooked and they are doing horrible things behind the scenes that they have other people do so they can keep their hands clean. And it involves just killing people, right? So we had the government in this movie that was like, clean the scene because they messed up the kidnapping. Like, they kidnapped the drug cartel's daughter to make it look like a rival cartel did it because they wanted to start a cartel war. And then they messed it up. So then they said clean the scene, which meant kill the girl. So I feel like we don't have evidence that happens in our government, and I'm not willing to say that every government official is involved in things like that. And so I kind of get tired of that story that we have no evidence, like, or I don't have any evidence that it's true.
Yeah, and this movie suffers a lot from like, these people are bad. This is good and this is bad, and if you do this, you're evil, and if you don't do that, you're not, or whatever. Like, I'm sick of that. Let's just say this about Sicario. It's the day of the Soldado. We don't have to see it again until it's on. You know, like if it was on FX.
Well, here's the real question. If there's a third installment, I feel like I'm probably going to see it.
Right. That's why, like, I'm not like.
I feel like I'm going to give them one more chance just because I saw the first two and they were well made.
Yeah, like,
and I'm
I feel
well,
like
maybe they'll get the story right. And now I'm interested in that little boy and
even the little girl, like what's going to happen to her and like what. Anyway, so that's why I wasn't going to say skip it, but like wait, like I'm probably like if another movie comes out, Movie Pass is still a viable option. I'm probably going to go see it depending on what else is out there. You know what I mean? That's just me.
But only because I saw the first two. If I hadn't seen the first two, then it'd be a whole different story.
But
so I'm telling you, just don't see the first two.
Oh! It wasn't going anywhere anyway.
Come on, Cloud.